Before we start, I want to ask you one question. If I told you that the most powerful people on Earth, presidents, CEOs, billionaires, were all addicted to one phone, and that phone was not the iPhone, would you believe me? Because it's true. There was a time when this phone wasn't just a device, it was a status symbol, a power symbol. If that tiny red light blinked on your desk, people assumed you were important. Governments trusted it with classified information. Banks used it to protect billions of dollars. World leaders carried it into every meeting. Some people slept with it beside their pillow. And the story of how this phone went from the hands of the most powerful people on Earth to completely disappearing is one of the most shocking stories in business history. This is BlackBerry. They built the most addictive device ever created, then destroyed themselves. Not because of competition, not because of Apple, but because of one fatal flaw buried deep inside their own leadership. Waterloo, Canada, 1984. A 23-year-old engineering student named Mike Lazaridis drops out of university just weeks before graduation. He has an idea, a small company, and absolutely no guarantee of success. He calls it Research in Motion. For years, nobody cared. Nobody was watching. They built barcode readers, display systems, boring technology for boring businesses. Nothing about it suggested they would one day compete with the biggest companies on Earth. But Mike Lazaridis couldn't stop thinking about one question, a question that seemed impossible in the 1980s. What if you could send a message, wirelessly, instantly, to anyone on Earth? At the time, most experts said it couldn't be done. Wireless communication was slow, expensive, unreliable. But Mike refused to give up. While other companies were building faster computers, he was obsessed with something else entirely, making communication faster, smarter, completely mobile. That obsession would change the world. In 1999, he answered that question. The BlackBerry was born. It was not just a phone, it was a weapon. A small black device with a physical keyboard that let you send and receive emails from anywhere on the planet. Today, that sounds normal. In 1999, it felt like science fiction. Wall Street went crazy. Lawyers, bankers, politicians, executives, everyone needed a BlackBerry. They called it the Crackberry, because once you had one, you couldn't put it down. Doctors checked it between surgeries. Pilots glanced at it before takeoff. Parents ignored their children at dinner tables. Couples sat in restaurants, together, but completely alone. One person staring at their food, the other staring at that tiny blinking red light. And nobody felt guilty, because everyone was doing it. BlackBerry didn't just change how people worked, it changed how people lived. It changed what people paid attention to. And without anyone realizing it, it changed what people started to ignore. Its physical keyboard became legendary. So fast, so accurate. People typed entire emails without looking at the keys. But its biggest weapon wasn't the keyboard. It was security. Every message encrypted. Every email protected. For governments, banks, and corporations, that mattered more than any flashy feature. BlackBerry wasn't just convenient, it was trusted. And in business, trust is everything. By 2008, 75 million subscribers, Barack Obama became President of the United States. The Secret Service gave him one instruction: give up your BlackBerry. He refused. The President of the United States fought his own security team to keep his BlackBerry. That is not a product. That is an empire. At its peak, BlackBerry was worth $83 billion. That's more than the GDP of many countries. Analysts couldn't stop praising it. Investors couldn't get enough. Competitors feared it. From the outside, BlackBerry looked invincible. January 9th, 2007. Steve Jobs walks onto a stage in San Francisco. Inside BlackBerry's headquarters, the leadership team watched live. And here is the most shocking part of this entire story. They laughed. Mike Lazaridis said the battery life would never last. He said the touchscreen keyboard was inferior. He said enterprise customers would never switch. He was wrong about everything. But here's what nobody talks about. BlackBerry's real problem was not the iPhone. BlackBerry's real problem was BlackBerry. Two CEOs, two visions, two egos. Mike Lazaridis was an engineer. He believed in the product. Jim Balsillie was a businessman. He believed in the deal. Two brilliant men, two completely different directions. And when a company can't decide what it believes in nothing. While Apple made bold decisions in days, BlackBerry held meetings about meetings. Developers begged BlackBerry to open their platform. BlackBerry said no. Too proud, too confident, too blind. By 2010, the iPhone had over 300,000 apps. BlackBerry had a few hundred. Consumers noticed. Businesses noticed. Even the most loyal BlackBerry users started switching. Then came the final blow. Barack Obama, the man who fought his security team to keep his BlackBerry, eventually gave it up too. When even the president moves on, you know it's over. By 2012, BlackBerry was losing billions. A company once worth $83 billion could not find a single buyer. Not one. But here is what the headlines missed. BlackBerry didn't die. It transformed. Instead of asking, how do we win back consumers, they asked a smarter question. What are we actually good at? The answer was security. For decades, BlackBerry had built the most secure communication systems in the world. Governments trusted them. Banks trusted them. Military organizations trusted them. So they stopped making phones and started protecting the world instead. Today, BlackBerry software protects over 500 million devices worldwide. Hospitals, banks, governments, military systems, your car's braking system, medical equipment in operating rooms, emergency response networks, places where failure is not an option. The brand that built the most addictive phone on Earth now protects the most sensitive data on Earth. So what actually killed BlackBerry? Not Apple, not Android. Arrogance killed BlackBerry. Two leaders who couldn't agree, a company too proud to adapt, a team that stopped listening the moment they felt safe. The greatest companies don't fall because of competition. They fall because they stop listening. BlackBerry stopped listening, and the world moved on without them. Think about the phone in your pocket right now. The one you check before you even say good morning to the people you love. That habit, that addiction, that desperate need to stay connected. BlackBerry created that. Before Instagram, before WhatsApp, before any of it, there was a small black device with a tiny red light that taught the world it could never truly disconnect. Apple got the credit. Android got the users, but BlackBerry started the obsession. Gone from your hand, but still, quietly, running the world. The company the world forgot created the world nobody can escape. If this story gave you something to think about, like this video and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a story. And before I go, drop a comment below. What should we uncover next?